Good morning, day 78. Today is going to be a slog through rain, 17.3 miles to Iron Grove Furnace. But when I get there, I will be staying at the Iron Masters mansion, which is a hostel, which is really cool. I'm excited to take a look at it, and I'll be able to dry out. And so that's nice when you're wet, having a dry place to go to. All right, I'm all packed up and ready to go. Yay, I get to be out there in this rain. Just a real quick gear related thing. I've learned enough about hiking in rain in the cool season to have, not be an expert, but at least have an informed opinion about rain gear. And I started out with an ultralight raincoat. It was Z-Packs. I think it weighed like 6 or 7 ounces. Crazy light. I think it's their Virtus rain jacket. And that did not cut it. When it's raining in the 30s and the 40s, that thing it doesn't insulate at all. It's not really meant to insulate, but it wets out. It just wasn't substantial enough to do the job. And you know, if you're going ultralight, sometimes you have to suffer, and if it's cold and rainy, you will suffer with a jacket like that. So when I went home back to Atlanta for a few days, I got a better, more substantial rain jacket, and that has made the difference. Yesterday it did great. It did not wet out. It kept the wind out, kept me warmer, and so I'll use my other jacket. I mean, it was fine in the winter when everything was frozen and it bounced off, but in the future I will use it in the summer only. And so anyway, that's my informed opinion about rain gear. Just so you know, I'm not trying to pick on Z-Packs. That's just, I have a lot of Z-Pack stuff, so that's just the way it worked out. I'm about a mile into the day, and this is just a really nice, easy, and tranquil section of the trail. The rain's light. Just has good vibes. My next campaign, I haven't really talked about how I tend to organize things in terms of segments of the trail, and sometimes it's a little nebulous, and you know, it can be fun not knowing exactly where you're going to be or how things are going to work out. But after Iron Masters, somewhere up the trail, I'm going to be staying with a couple, and Trail Angels, and Night Shift stayed with them, and he put in a word for me and said I'd be coming up the trail, and they reached out to me. And so it looks like maybe 2 nights with them, and in terms of and that'll get me to Duncannon and maybe beyond. But in terms of what I do after that, I haven't really worked any of that out. And this marks a big transition for me. I have section hiked most of the southern half of the trail, but never north of Duncannon. So new territory for me, even though it's been years since I've been up here. I remember a lot. So I'm kind of excited about that. I really enjoyed revisiting places I've been before, but this is even more exciting to strike out into new territory. Having a little break in the rain, so I thought I'd get some footage. It's been windy and cold, and really this is the only time it's stopped raining, which is a little. It's been harder than yesterday. So I'm about 9 miles out from my destination, and I think it's about 17 and a half miles total, and I'm hoping to be there by 2 o'clock. This is the trail. Hopefully there's not any deep creeks coming up between now and my destination. This looks like an area that maybe had a forest fire and a few of the trees survived. Most of them no. Just saw a turkey running down this road for quite a ways. That thing's fast. Think you can outrun a turkey? Think again. That's quite an elaborate sign that somebody made. It says 1099, and if that's accurate, that means I'm at the halfway point. Wow, I wasn't even thinking about it. I'm gonna have to confirm this. It is confirmed. I'm at mile 1099.1. And I haven't done the exact math, but I'm going to go ahead and call this halfway. I think there's some signs up ahead that are halfways from previous years because the trail changes lengths as it gets rerouted a little bit. But this is it. I am halfway to Mount Katahdin. All right. Holy crap. I am halfway to Mount Katahdin. Rainy day? What rainy day? I am at Pine Grove Furnace, and that is the Iron Master's mansion. And a subscriber got me a room here, Becky, and I so appreciate it. I thought it was just in the bunkhouse. It's a hostel, but they also have a private room, and apparently it's where the Iron Master stayed, and I'll explain what that means. And so, since I'm staying there, it's on the corner. That means, at least for tonight, I am the Iron Master. That corner room had, or at least had, a view down this way of where a blast furnace was. And so that's what they mean by Pine Grove Furnace. The furnace is what you use to make iron, and I'll explain that because I'm geeky that way. Oh, and once again, I am the first Nobo to stay at that hostel. They're basically opening it. Well, it opened a couple days ago, but they're turning on the gas. Of course, there's not gas because the tank hasn't been filled. So I'm heating water on the stove and taking a bucket bath, which is fine. I'm glad to do that. So this is an Appalachian Trail museum up here that's not open because it's early. But this was part of the iron making complex. Oh, and that Iron Master's mansion was was built in about 1820, and I'm told there's ghosts. So there is the furnace, and it's a blast furnace. It's an old design used in the 19th century and well previous to that, and all that remains is the furnace. There would have been a whole structure, buildings and apparatus around this to serve the furnace. And so what you need in not steel making, but iron making, is three main ingredients. You need a source of carbon, and they use charcoal, and limestone was a flux, and of course you need iron ore. And so you fill the furnace in alternating layers, and you blast, in this case, cold air in there, raises the temperature, and the oxidized iron from the ore gets reduced and forms elemental iron, and it goes to the bottom where the furnace gets tapped. So in the bottom of this thing, you would have molten iron, and literally you would open the door and it would flow out into channels where you would have the iron. So there would have been a building here, and so when you're ready to tap the furnace, that's where the iron comes from. So the term for that was pig iron. When I talk about a source of carbon, in this case it was trees, but you can't just use wood because there's more than just carbon in wood. There's all kinds of volatiles, and so you have to make charcoal out of it, which basically you cook it in the with limited oxygen, and you're driving off everything but the carbon. So nowadays in modern blast furnaces, it's hot air blasts. Of course, they use coal, but they can't just use coal though. They have to send it through a coking process, much similar. It's similar to how you make charcoal, but in the coking process, you're driving off all those volatile chemicals that you find in coal, and you're left with almost pure carbon, and that serves as your source of fuel in your blast furnace. So modern coke plants are pretty dirty processes, and there's a lot of pollution. Nobody should live next to a coke plant, and people do live next to a coke plant, and it's not a good thing. You have lots of benzene and naphthalene and other nasty volatiles that come from that process. And so you can see the mansion over there, and I can imagine that around here probably most of the forest was cut down for charcoal, and there would have been a lot of slag around here. I don't know if it still can be found, but there's a lot of slag that comes out of this process, and it has to be disposed of. And I would imagine in those times they would have just put it wherever was convenient. Again, that's where I'm staying, and There's rumor that there's another northbounder coming tonight, but it's not confirmed. Otherwise, the caretaker won't be there tonight. She's got other commitments, so I'll be there by myself in this massive 1820s inn and mansion. And I've been told that the ghost in the attic did not get along with the ghost in the basement. So could be an interesting night. If the ghost could just leave me out of it, I'll be happy. This is the Iron Master, and I am wrapping up the day. 17.5 miles from the Quarry Gap shelter to the Iron Master's mansion where I currently preside. And earlier today, around dinner time, Marty came over again. The guy yesterday that was at the park, Caledonia, that gave me some trail magic. And I meant to get a picture of Marty, but he doesn't want his picture on the video, so which is fine. But so he took me down to a deli, the Green Mountain Deli, and we brought some food back here to the hostel, and had some dinner, and we talked about his Appalachian Trail through hike, a successful through hike in 2002, and it was fun hearing some of Marty's stories, and some of the differences, even in in just a couple of decades on how people hike the trail, and the technology we have now that they didn't have then, sort of the pluses and minuses of that, and yeah, we had a good time. Marty likes to meet hikers along the trail. Sometimes during the bubble, he'll park at a parking lot, and as hikers come through, he'll see what their needs are. So yeah, I had a good time talking with Marty. So I hope everybody has a good evening. Thank you. And I want everybody to know how I'm enjoying all the comments. There's a lot of great feedback, and it really is encouraging to get that. And I'm having a lot of fun with these videos. It really does make my hike more enjoyable. So thank you. This 1820s house is so cool. There's the original fireplace. There's the door down to the basement. You guys don't get too rowdy down there. Just walking around. This place is way bigger than I'm gonna walk through. Going down the halls. There's a bathroom there. Don't know what that is. Another bathroom there. Bunk room. This is kind of the main entrance. There's another bunk room. I think that's up to the attic. I think we'll just put this here. There, I'm safe now. This is kind of a sitting area. Looks like some, there's a projector, looks like almost like a classroom, and here is the Iron Master's suite. So this is where Becky reserved for me, even though I thought I was getting the bunk room. This is what I got. Thank you so much. All right, Ghost in the Attic. The ones in the basement said they're just taking the night off. Nothing gonna happen tonight.